Okay, it's been a while since I've tried doing a video, so bear with me. Um, what I would do with this, and I think it looked like what you got from Roxanne and Mike was pretty similar, but I might take it a little further. Um, I would add, what I generally do is do like a brightness contrast layer in order to do like background darkenings and so forth, and I'll take that brightness and really exaggerate it. Um, so that way I can really see what it is. And I make sure my mask is selected, and I go up to Image, Adjustment, come on, there we go, Invert. So now it's solid black. And then I go to my Gradient tool. And you can see here I already have it set to a white. And I have a white that fades off to transparent and a black that fades off to transparent. And in this case I'm going to use white because the mask is black. It's completely utilized. So then I can take this, and by making sure it's on the circle, not on the gradient like this, because then when you do that, and this has uses for things like landscapes and so forth, where you have a nice strong horizon, and you can see here it darkens that side quite a bit and leaves the other side alone. Undo that. But in this case, when I have things like this, I usually like to use the circular, and I can take that and I take it up just a little bit past a lot of times the image, so it'll actually start masking into the image or into the subject. That keeps, that one's probably a little bit too much, but that keeps the image from having too much of a glow around it. And especially where you have a little bit darker area, like up here you have more highlighted area. Down here you can probably get away with a little more going into the image a little bit. And you can play around and figure this out, but it also has other uses using this sort of technique. And you can see here it's darkened up that background. You still have it lighter in here. And you can do things like where you maybe just do something like that, bring in some shadow area there. And one of the nice things about this is you can go in and you can burn and dodge and push all this stuff around if you want to. But one of the nice things is you can adjust this brightness contrast level. So whereas I have it down really dark right now, it looks pretty exaggerated, and I know I don't need it to be that exaggerated. So I can adjust this and find out exactly what point I want this to be at. And you can use this for other things too, and I do use this a lot for other things, is for example, hue saturation or a color balance or something like that. In this case I'll use a hue saturation. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to select that mask, image, adjustment, invert, and I'm going to completely black that out. You can see I've turned off the brightness contrast for right now because I want to kind of show this other technique. And I'm doing this and you don't see anything right now. I can slide this hue saturation or this hue bar and the saturation bar, nothing's happening because this is all blacked out. So if I come in here, I've already got all that selected, so I'm good there. So I can start bringing that in there. And I'll start bringing some of that up. And here, now you can start seeing it really is adjusting the colors. I'm going to take this up and really exaggerate a lot of this, just so you can really see what's happening. And you don't necessarily have to do it from the edges either. So we're going to go back in history, get rid of all that. You can do it from the center as well. So where you might want to get a little more oomph out of the fern. And then I have this area here, you can see in the preview, it's got that all white out in the center and the area is blacked out on the edges. So this area is going to be sticking out more. And then there again, you can go back into your thing here and adjust it. So now you can change your colors, your saturation, and you can do this with a color balance or really any of the tools that you have down in here, any of the adjustment layers. Your brightness, contrast levels, curves, exposure, vibrance, hue, saturation, color balance, black and white, any of them. And this can be a real valuable tool. Let's see, we'll turn that off again, come back to that, and you can see it's kind of like, whoops, it's kind of looks kind of like what you had been doing there, and I don't know how Ruth Ann, I think Ruth Ann does things pretty similar to what I do, and you can really kind of see here. You can really kind of, if you really want to do a vignetting, you can crank it down, and if you want to kind of do the reverse, you can crank it up and have it kind of stick out like that. In some cases, this actually works very well. I sometimes like lightening the background. Um, you can do whichever way you want. In this case, though, I think a darker background is going to help this stand out better. And that's basically how I would approach that. And I just got to figure out how to